This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully this microphone is working. We didn't really test it, so that'll just be a whole bunch of blank talking heads. It is 5:32 on January 26th, and this is the finance meeting for January. Here we have Treasurer Sally Bennett and Trustee Julia O'Rourke and myself, Jeremy Graham, present. Trustee Pearson will not make it tonight. He just got called into work. All right. First item on the agenda is the approval of the December 27 minutes.
I'll make the motion to approve. O'Rourke?
And Jeremy will second. All in favor, Julie?
Yes.
And Jeremy says yes as well. It's approved. No one has signed up for any disclosure of conflict of interest? Hearing none. Number 3 is public comment. No one has signed up for public comment. Moving on to number 4, budget 2022. How are we finalizing up? I guess it's over now, but how do we end up?
It's still open. Things are just kind of trickling in. Nothing to report. I'll probably look at it when I do the report for the board meeting, just to see if we need any line item transfers. But I typically don't put both in the board package, just the newest one. So, and then from there, it'll just be the audit.
Perfect. And where were we? Did they say they were going to for sure allow us to start earlier, or they were hiring? I don't remember where we ended up.
I was going to email them today and I never did. So I'm going to do that.
For what, I'm sorry?
For the audit, to make sure that we don't run into the same situation. I know they were understaffed. They came in and gave their presentation.
They're probably not going to contact me. I probably need to be the one.
Probably a safe assumption there.
All right. Anything else regarding 2022? Well, we are well on our way into 2023 already. The budget was approved, which is outstanding. Any glaring issues that we ran into that we didn't realize a month ago? Nothing yet?
Nothing yet.
Good.
Yeah, we're 26 days in and all's well.
Yes. Let's end the year now.
I just happen to notice on page 2 these negatives. What is that about? On professional fees under police, there's a negative current period of 4148.
Oh, you know why? Because that was reversed. That was something that was supposed to be in the 2022 budget, and we paid it in 2023, and then we reversed it.
So we
So it shows up in the current activity.
Okay. And is that always going to be hanging there like that then?
No, it won't. It's always a little bit weird when both budgets are open at the same time.
Yeah, sure.
So it will go away.
All right. That was it. Well, I got a couple of those.
And then I guess it's appropriate to talk about the appropriation.
Ready?
That is due within the first quarter of the year. And I was looking because some communities do what they call estimated revenues, and I've never done it. And looking on others' websites, it's kind of random who does and who doesn't. So I contacted my contact at the county, and she said that it is in the statute to do estimated revenues, which would just be our budget revenues. But when they receive things from the communities, they just receive them. They don't comment whether it's right or. So I'm like, okay, well, I should be doing this then. So I kind of went down the rabbit hole on that, and I was looking at the statutes, and I got Mary involved because there are two different ways it can be done. There's the budget form of government and the appropriation form of government, and where the appropriation and to change would require I think it's a 2/3 vote by our board. Some communities opt to change. But the legislation that I was looking at, it was really confusing what they were talking about, whether it was the budget or the appropriation. And whatever it was, even Mary mentioned that it said that it was a requirement for all public entities and municipalities. And then right below it, it said that it excluded municipalities and it listed all these things. And we're like, who does it apply to then? So, but anyway, we figured it out. And I was looking at the city of Antioch, and they have a really nice looking one. I don't know if you guys remember what ours looks like, but we typically just have the description and the amount. And this one has the line item, the description, the budget, and then the appropriated amount. And I think that's important for us to start doing because we, for many years now, have had a standard where our budget is just 25% below the appropriation for every single line item, but there may be a point in time where a board or a trustee would like to pick and choose which ones are higher or lower or whatever. So it would be nice to have that in view.
Mhm.
Can I see that?
Yes.
Better seer than listener, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, because that way, instead of just doing 25% higher than everything, you're like, hey, we always go over, or we're thinking we might go over in this, so let's put the extra here.
Mm-hmm.
This, it's a fixed cost, it's always gonna be a fixed cost, why are we increasing it by 25%? Yeah.
And yeah, so, and as Mary and I were talking it out, we thought there might be some point where for instance, salaries. Well, maybe we don't want to have a lot of wiggle room there. We don't want people to feel like they could take advantage of that extra or something. It was just an example, but so I'm going to be changing the format and adding the estimated revenues. And I'm hoping to get that done tomorrow because in order to approve the appropriation, it has to be put in the paper with a 10-day notification before the public hearing. And that would be my deadline is tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So if I don't make it, it'll be March.
March is okay.
But Mary is open to receiving it tomorrow and doing her part. So that's my focus for tomorrow. So I don't know if you have any comments.
I'm not sure I'm 100% following, so I don't have any comments. Are you 100% following?
Instead of just doing 25% across the board for every line, if later on we're like, you know what, we're never gonna go over here, so let's not increase by 25%, and take that extra money that we would have put on and raise this category, say, heavy machinery, make it 40% more.
So when we do the appropriation, when we have budgets, we basically appropriate 25% over?
Correct, on everything. So our budget is
Every single
this,
line item.
we add 25%, and that's how much we're authorized to spend, without having to go back and tell everybody that.
Okay, this change would be, we would not appropriate for 25% over?
I'm suggesting we still do it, but that it's visible on the appropriation, what we're doing.
And eventually, maybe 5 years from now, if we didn't want to do a standard 25%, and we wanted to go line by line, we look at it going, no, that one's good, this one let's increase by 30%, this one let's.
Okay, so for what you're talking about now, you're gonna have, this is what we estimate revenues to be, this is the appropriation, or expenses, right? You said revenues, but it's expenses we're estimating, right? Expenses and then budget and then appropriation. And
We're estimating the revenue that offset the appropriated expenses.
Okay.
But on the sheet that she showed, it should be, correct if I'm wrong, it's your budgeted expenses, what we did.
Yeah,
And then currently, there's another column with literally just 25% more in every column.
right.
And then that's it, there's nothing new, it's just a new piece of paper. later on down the road, if we ever chose to, it's sort of like taking a standard deduction or a itemized. If we wanted to go itemized, we could later on in an easier format.
And then it would be the estimated revenues, theirs just looks like this. I was looking at, and then it has to be certified by the CFO, which I guess is me. I was looking at another community where they put the revenues in a third column here, but we don't really, we don't have a line for every single expense line of a revenue. So I think that could confuse things more than just doing a separate revenue.
And at one point, there's such a thing as too much data. You know, you want to have a lot of good data here, but if at that point you're taking 15 minutes to figure out what you're looking at here, turn it sideways.
Is that document gonna help us budget in the future too, do you think? Because that's just been my thing, so we move line items around and I sit there and think, what did we originally budget and how do, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we can go back to that original budget document which you give us, and I marry that for the whole year, and I bring it with me everywhere I go.
Which is why I do these, and that's what the auditors want to know. Well, what was the original budget and what changed?
So I'm just trying to figure out for all that work, what value, do we get enough value out of that? I'm not one for spinning wheels to spin wheels, you know what I'm saying? Do we really think that's valuable?
What I think is valuable about it, and one of my focuses has been, since I've gotten some help, is looking at everything that I come up to do next and saying, how can this be better? Is it being done correctly? How can someone take over and understand what they're doing? Or how can we furthermore maybe automate things so that it's
Now you're
simple?
talking.
Which was the idea with the website too.
Right.
We need, you know, we feel, Kelly and I feel, I know I'm speaking for her too, but you know, it's not easy just to walk into one of these roles, and we want it to be a lot easier for posterity.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the idea. And, you know, the fact that I haven't been doing it incorrectly. I mean, our attorney approves these every year, but there was information that I probably should have been doing that just didn't get done. And
So aren't you getting to your to-do list now that you have some help? Is that what you're trying to do?
yes.
All right, well, I like getting it more organized and stuff for the next one to take over, and I also definitely like the automation. That's the question too with everything is, how can I make this more efficient? Am I doing it the hard way, the long way? Because that will help progress us and,
Yeah, we're doing what we can. So many of these things are just one-offs. You know, I can't just print an appropriation. Yeah. So.
Archaic, municipal software.
That's number 9 right there.
Just don't let it have a delete button on it, whatever you do. No delete buttons.
You know, that's how you learn. I have learned how to find things that I've double deleted in Excel.
Maybe I should have called you instead of my IT department.
Well, that's the one nice thing when my husband and I work from home on the same day. He's an IT person, so like, help me figure this out. Anyway, I just wanted you to know I'm working on the,
Looks nice, yeah,
I
no.
almost said amortization, appropriation.
Okay. Moving to number 6 was the iDrop. I don't remember seeing this one.
Kelly didn't have it done, and
Perfect.
I said, you know, it hasn't been controversial at all. It's really low, so 1 month isn't gonna matter.
Nope, I'm fine with that. All right, jumping to number 7 then, bank reconciliation for December.
Caught up.
That's exciting.
What is payment typo Sue looking into it?
Is that the 18
I don't
cents?
even know where that, is that what it is?
Oh, you know
It has no
what?
number on it.
Yep, I fixed it and I forgot to take out the the description, so I'll do that before I send it to the board. Also, it won't be Christmas colors when I send it to the board.
I saw it, it is pretty on the computer.
There was an 18 cents, I really looked hard because it was December and I wanted it to be clean. And sometimes I think there's a bad table or something on the utility billing side, because sometimes they make an adjustment and it just doesn't hit the GL right. And so she had to call them and work it out, but we got it fixed.
All right. Anything else on the reconciliation, Julie?
No.
The credit card review. I had noticed earlier that it was a brand new format. It is very easy to read. We have it separated by individual who, is it individual like the department lead or individual as in who actually did the spending?
It's by the owner of that credit card.
Okay.
And that's how the bill comes. And so I thought, well, if I'm maybe having someone else do this part, let's make it simple. They just follow along with the bill. It still needs to be on that form, but that's why it changed. Also, Kelly and I talked about it today. I've been wanting to look at, we have a large number of points. And at the same time, she said that First National offers a different type of credit card that wouldn't involve, because all of the credit card holders have had some sort of personal, they have to give up their social security number. And she said there's a card that wouldn't require that. It would just be on the onus of the village. And so I said, well,
Are their names going to be on the cards, or?
I don't know. I would think so, but
I'd be shocked if they didn't have that. The bank told you they wouldn't need their socials?
I'm just relaying what she said. So, she said that she doesn't want it to be on her credit report. And I just said, well, before you do anything, let's see what we can do with those points.
What do you get for the points?
And I tried to log in, but because I'm not a card holder, I don't have a login. And so that's why I was asking her about it. And when Joy was here, I just used her login to look in there, but that's not active anymore. And so I'm not exactly sure what we can do with it. I keep getting these flyers that say like, use your points in Amazon or whatever, and so I don't know.
I wonder if you can use it to buy stuff off Amazon. Yeah, I would figure it out, but I am shocked that they're going on their personal credit report, so it should be a village card with them as a signer, but I don't think you're gonna get away with not submitting their birth date, social security. I mean, it's a know your customer requirement of banks. I mean, the village, yes, is the customer, but the person signing for the credit card, they need personal data on. I mean, it's just a federal requirement, so I'd be shocked, but I've been shocked before. But yeah, they shouldn't be going on their own personal credit reports.
That's what I thought she said, and the more you ask me, the less confident I feel about it.
So stop asking.
Okay, I'll stop asking.
But we'll get to the bottom of it, and I said, of course, we would, if we do switch, we would overlap. Because there are several things that are automatic, and
yeah. What, do you know what the Eli Roscoe is on the police?
I was gonna ask that too.
that is something that Jeff is attending
Oh, like a
this week in
training
the
or
class.
something?
Mhm. But the form that I received, the invoice, just had the credit card information. It didn't have any information about what it was. So
I know, I thought it was in that leadership training thing this week, last week, and maybe, I don't know, he's got so many trainings he signed up for, I do know that.
Last week was the surgery and this week is the training, I think.
Yeah, that leads leader or whatever, the same, staff commander, no, it doesn't matter. So that's what you think it is, one of the
Yeah.
trainings.
Mm-hmm.
How was your new chair?
Oh, it's working out good.
How do you get a good chair for $129?
I was wondering that myself too.
Well, Kelly's is on there. She paid $149
Oh, yeah.
and then they had some kind of discount and she said, we're gonna get a discount on yours. So,
So it's the same chair?
mm-hmm,
And
it's decent, yeah.
I might have to
Like-
find out
It's
where you
not
got it.
fancy like this.
Is it like by that when you sit down and just slowly sinks?
No, that's what,
I'm gonna
What's
check
wrong with
that
the
new
other
chair on the way out, I wanna see a chair for $149. I bought my son one for $300, and, I mean, it was the mesh and the really, but when you work from home, well, you're working here, and he's,
yeah.
been having back pain and everything else, but. Okay.
But otherwise, I didn't see any issues with it.
Me either.
All right, do software upgrades. I did get it pulled. I did not check if it was pulled twice. Did you get it pulled twice?
No.
Okay, well, I got a little email saying it was pulled. And the village has not shut off my water, so I assume it was pulled and it went to the right spot.
What are you talking about,
So-
it's cold?
Oh, I signed up for we're in the testing phase of the new utility billing.
Okay.
So instead of doing it the way where it's pulled from my account, but really it's manually done by us here, the new software doesn't. So we're in the testing phase of it.
Well, I didn't realize we were doing that, I thought the bank had that set up and they were automatically pulling it, from our accounts.
So how did you pay?
I signed up on the little fancy website thing that we have,
Is it credit card, e-check?
the credit card.
Okay.
Oh, mine comes right on auto debit for my checking.
And that is done right now, kind of like the same concept as payroll. It pulls into a file and then our people upload it to the bank. So
Okay.
yes and no.
Okay.
That is not done by our people. It automatically goes to the credit card company and then it automatically goes into a packet that I think our people approve it at the end of the day, but no data entry. The thing that I wanted to bring up, other than the transition from the postcard bill, is, did you happen to get a $1.25 charge? I did,
I would know if I did.
and
I just looked at the amount
it
and
is
said, okay.
something that I missed when we were getting sold this, however many years ago that was, that Encode is getting this $1.25 for every transaction.
Oh my gosh.
So I was going to analyze, well, how much does the postage cost? How much does the paper cost? We could come up with the time maybe and compare it to the $1.25 because, so, and then possibly eat those costs and not pass them on to the consumer because.
I did get a $1.25 cost. Municipal online payment fee.
Why is everything gotta be so hard?
Well, I mean, it seems like, you want people to go online, but if I'm charging a fee, I don't. I put my debit card on there and then it's no fee.
No, again, I mean, this is what we were talking about before. I purposely did my credit card because I wanted to see what would happen. But if there's a debit card, is it?
I think we're still in the villages eating the credit card fees.
So this is another fee on top of the credit card fee? Because you said it was into it, okay.
And so my thinking was that I would contact them. Does the board need to approve the credit card fee thing? Because I know we talked about it at this level, but I didn't know if it had to go I think it does, because it's financial.
So the credit, just so I understand, the credit card, say its bill is $50 and it's a 2% fee, you just get $50 minus the 2%? Will the village will actually get that from the credit card company? That's not like a line item that we see, or do we owe the credit card company that fee?
The credit card company gives us the full amount, and then at the end of the month, all the different credit card merchants, it's all added up into one, like a fee that gets automatically taken out of our account. So it's not done with every
Audits, that kind of
transaction.
stuff.
Well, it's a PCI compliance thing, so
It's the same concept of sales tax. Right?
kind of.
The company is pulling all the things in and the government goes, okay, now where is it? Oh, here it is. I was just holding it for you, you're welcome.
Man, that's.
So, and that's what's happening now, currently with ePay. But, so what, if someone did an e-check, or you could say debit, not credit, the only fee they would have is that $1.25. But I think the village should, at least in the beginning, eat that.
$1.25.
Uh-huh.
Now,
And then possibly the credit card fees, at least for a time. Because let's, first time's free kind of thinking, because we really want people to sign up.
so would we just, are you suggesting then, here's your total amount that you owe the village, minus $1.25 discount, and then we add the $1.25 fee, so it ends up being the same for them, how much they're saying owe?
Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna figure that out, or we have to pay the $1.25 for.
Yeah, we would just have it
But it's still gonna be on their,
charged to us.
it's still gonna be on their receipt though. So the only way we can do it is if you said subtotal.
But will it be if they're not charging the people?
Did we check the box saying please charge the people right now?
I don't remember that
There
even
must have been.
being a thing,
Why?
so.
I don't know.
So
This really stings, because first they dinged us with an extra $11,000, right, for the software. Now we're getting dinged every time we use it? Didn't we sign a contract or something?
I just saw that on my bill like 2 days ago on my bank account, and I asked Kelly about it, and she said, yeah, it's in code. So I think I need to have a meeting with the salesman and just get all the information. What can we do?
Well, I think we need to go back to the contract that was signed. Or was there one signed? It should certainly say that each user is gonna pay $1.15 or $1.50, whatever you said. Now, for auto debit, is that an option, and that has a fee too? So everything is gonna have this $1.50 fee?
25.
So, $1.25.
Yeah.
So, me, who has it already set up, if I do nothing, the village then has to do this file thing forever, but I don't get a fee, right? It's basically how I should get it from my.
And then we're eventually gonna phase that out, that ACH packet thing. And, I mean, you could still go onto your bank and do an automatic bill pay and not have the charge.
Oh, you can?
It would just come into us
As somebody dropping off a check.
as a check, right?
Okay.
And the idea is to eliminate as many people touching this as possible because this is automated.
Correct.
Wow. Yeah, I think the first thing you do is dig up the contract and see what it says. Who knows if that fee was in there or not, and it was added since we implemented. But what we signed is what we signed.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, what we signed is what we signed, and we still paid an extra $11,000, so I don't know what, I think we should pull that up and see.
Yeah, and then currently, when you go on there, there's an option to look at your bill, but there's no bill to look at. It's just an error. And we found out that they didn't code in a bill for us, so they're working on that. And as soon as I knew that, I'm like, send me an example, we'll get it back to you today. And so we did, we turned it right around, told them what we wanted, I did it all right immediately. And then 2 weeks went by and I got something from that person, an email that said, oh, I need you to sign this release. And it's like, has this been even looked at for the past 2 weeks? So that leads into the next thing, which is I asked the salesman, I sent him an email and said, can you give us a quote on what it will cost to change from this postcard bill to have the coding done to do a full sheet of paper? And he replied back that it shouldn't cost anything, we just need to talk to customer service. So that's on my list to do. I think we should just do that right away. And then those bills will look identical. But, part of the problem is Kelly's working on this sometimes I'm working on it, sometimes I'm like, oh, I got time, I'll just do that. I'll just send them this or whatever. And so, and then it's taken them years. So, the seasons have changed, things have changed.
Nobody remembers what we were even doing.
So, I'm really hoping to get this resolved in the next couple of months here. All of it, everything.
If you do find that contract, would you mind just sending it out? I mean, I'll take a look through it too, but.
Yeah. I do have it somewhere, and I was gonna look at it because of that, but trying to get that appropriation done.
Yeah.
So that's all I have, unless you guys have questions more about the software.
Good. All right. Moving on to grant updates.
I didn't update the sheet since the last meeting.
And I have not heard
I don't think
anything.
there's been any update also.
Waiting for the police camera grant.
Any new business?
Do you guys mind if I ask what your thoughts are about chickens, backyard chickens in the village? Because it keeps popping up on Facebook, and
It's because the egg prices right now.
I think so. And I sent a message to the Community Development Committee and asked them if they would talk about it at their meeting, but I don't know. I'm not too keen about my neighbors having them.
Yeah. This came up once before.
Yes, it did.
It's like
Yep.
A year or.
Because somebody had chickens. I don't remember who it was, but somebody had chickens. That's what caused the whole thing.
And what I think is happening is the ordinance that's in place isn't specific, so it keeps getting challenged. And I think what the board needs to do is identify whether they're for or against chickens, and
What does their ordinance say?
Against chickens or owning chickens? Because you can.
That's all I eat is chicken.
I'm against.
Guess I better start raising chickens.
Or,
I
and
eat it
it's,
then.
I think it's something to do with agricultural animals or whatever. But there was actually like, someone had like a pony,
Yeah, I remember that too.
and they got the loophole too, and I think, so if we're for chickens, we need to say like, these are the parameters of the chickens. And if we're against it, we need to have it in there that no chickens in the village.
Seems like this should come up to community development in the board meeting, don't you think?
Correct. Yep. It is interesting to hear about, but yeah, it needs to go from community development.
And there are communities, people, at least the people on the Facebook forum are saying, oh, they allow it in Roscoe, and they allow it here, and they allow it there, and so I don't know if they really do and what their rules are, but I guess that would be a starting point if someone was considering it on the board. Like I said, I'm kind of indifferent, but I feel like I would rather have a solar farm than a chicken farm behind me.
And I suppose it depends too, the roosters are really the big one, not the chickens, but.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Are
well, look,
you on community development?
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Drew and, Mike
Jason.
and Jason.
Maybe you can see if you can get it on the board agenda as a discussion item, just the 10,000 foot view of the trustees, what direction we should go, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds good. I thought I would just say it. I think that was a couple of years ago I brought it up.
It was,
at one of
yes,
these
yeah.
meetings.
Any need for executive session? All right, hearing none, let's go to the next, meeting.
Grab my kid, hold on. Excuse me.
Where's the board meeting? Right there. How's Tuesday the 28th of February?
My God, can you even believe that? 28th of February. This just seems not possible to be thinking of February already. That should work for me.
That's wide open for me.
We can do it the week, you guys can do the week prior, but I'll be gone, so you'll have to write without me.
And there's still, the meeting in March isn't until the 13th, so I would still have plenty of time and not feel like I'm
Yeah, let's do the.
behind the 8 ball or anything,
So I
so.
don't have to worry about leaving the committee. I'm so selfish.
I just texted Drew to see if that works for him, but I'm gonna put it in my calendar as if it does. Okay, finance meeting, 5:30 again?
Yep.
Where did I put it? There it is. And just out of curiosity, can we get one more date in case that one doesn't work for Drew? I can do the 27th or March 1st. Either one of those would work for me. Or the 2nd or the 3rd, really.
The 27th I can't, but I had some tight race because I babysit on Monday, so I can't really get here at all.
I'm completely open.
So March 1st, March
March 1st
2nd.
would probably be better for me.
Okay, how about the 2nd, just in case?
Right now, I can do any of those.
Okay, I'll find out tonight, I'll text it out, but we'll shoot for the 28th for now.
Yeah, I don't think his calendar goes out that far, remember? That's always the issue with it.
Yes, because it is, it's just over 4 weeks. Okay.
And then in March, I'm hoping to take the 27th through the 31st off.
Huh?
Because our grandsons are gonna spend the week with us.
Oh, wow,
So,
fun.
it's spring break for, their dad works at UW-Madison and that's his spring break, so him and our daughter are gonna go, vacation with no children.
Wow.
You said that was the 27th to the 31st?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
When is Winnebago spring break?
the week prior.
Okay. So you'll have plenty of time for me.
I might be remote that week, we'll see. All right, items for the board. I have, unless we do the appropriation, I have nothing.
For what, the board?
The
Yeah.
board.
Yeah, unless, do we want to talk about the speed thing, or are we gonna be prepared to talk about I mean, do we need to bring that up?
So when is our deadline for the board?
Where is our board meeting?
Probably, well, I've got a couple of weeks here, so I will,
We'll retouch then.
well, yeah.
So fees and appropriation, possibly for both. Question mark, question mark. All right. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion, Julie.
And Jeremy will second. All in favor, Julie?
Yes.
Jeremy, yes, and that is approved. It is 6:11.
Yes.
And have a wonderful night, everyone.
Drew's gonna be
Come on,
like, why are the meetings so simple when I'm not there?